everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Mama Hustle. My name is Pritika and I'm a mom of two, a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old. And today's video topic is all about early potty training. This is a question I get asked pretty often on my Instagram channel, and a couple of weeks ago I had done a post about an Instagram story about early potty training, and I got a lot of questions on it, so I thought I will do a little video about it and how I do it. And I actually don't like calling it potty training. I would rather call it potty learning, because that's how I think about you learning to use the potty. It's not something that you train your child to do, it's just something that they learn after you have a few things in place for them. So with that, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to just talk about is elimination communication. And so this is pretty common in India actually. Using diapers in India is a very recent phenomenon. If you remember, probably when you were a baby, I mean obviously you won't remember, but if you ask your mom, chances are that she's gonna tell you that they didn't really use diapers for you when you were a baby, and they sort of just hung you on top of a toilet and you sort of did your business. And this is pretty common even now in India, where people don't really put babies in diapers. They kind of understand and they have a connection with the baby, and they are able to read cues from the baby. And when they sort of understand, it's been 30 minutes since the baby's last gone potty, or there are certain signs that they watch out for, and they just take, moms and grandmoms and dads, they sort of take the baby to the bathroom, and that's it. So a lot of babies in India and all over the world actually don't use diapers at all right from the beginning. Now this whole process is called elimination communication, and I really would encourage you, if you're interested in something like this, to go on YouTube and research elimination communication. And there are many amazing resources if this is something that you wanted to practice in your house. For my family, that just wasn't a right fit. I'm just not that kind of a person. I am quite forgetful, and I don't always remember to take my baby to the loo every time they need to pee, and so there used to be a lot of accidents, and so I sort of gave up on elimination communication. What I do, however, is do not use disposable diapers when I'm at home. I use cloth diapers that I've spoken about a lot on this channel. And more importantly, I do not use the stay dry cloth diapers. So I use these kind of cloth diapers, or I just use muslin squares. And the advantage of this cloth diaper, apart from the fact that it's a natural fabric, it's really good for your baby. My babies have never had a diaper rash. Apart from all of those good things, it is not stay dry, which means that when your baby pees, or poops in the diaper, they kind of know that that's happened, and they're able to feel it, and over a period of time they feel icky. They don't like the feeling of being wet, really. So this sort of puts that association in their mind that, if I pee, it gets uncomfortable. Obviously this means that I have to change their diaper pretty often, but I'm willing to do that because over a period of time it does pay back. So what I did with both my babies was, from around the time that they started to sit unassisted, so that is around the 7-month mark for both of my kids. It might be different for yours. Around the time that they started to sit unsupported, I bought a potty for them, and I would put them on the potty on a regular basis. So the first thing that they would wake up in the morning, I would take off their diaper and put them on a potty, and I used to make like this fun thing where I would read a book to them, or play a game, or play peekaboo with them, or something like that. So this was just basically introducing them to the potty at a very young age. And what that does is that it shows them that sitting on a potty is a pretty normal thing. It's not something that is new. So when they're much older, they're a lot more, especially when they're toddlers, they just want to run around all the time. They don't want to sit and wait on a potty. So for them at that time, it's very difficult to introduce the potty, just because they wouldn't just sit on it. But if you introduce the potty at a much earlier age, around 7 months or so, it kind of builds that association with them. Now they may or may not go in the potty. That doesn't matter. What matters is introducing them to the concept of sitting on a potty. And sometimes they might pee, and sometimes they might not, and that's okay. So what I start doing is that the first thing in the morning, I put them in the potty. I put them on a potty right before naps and right before bed. and slowly I increase that frequency of putting them on a potty. So over a period of time or a few months, I start putting them on a potty every hour or every hour and a half. Now this might be different on different days. So there are some days that I'm really busy, or I have a work assignment that is due, or just regular home chaos, and on those days I'll forget to put him on the potty every hour or so. But on most days I try to keep that to that schedule. I have an Alexa with me, so what I do is every time I put them on a potty, I say, Alexa, set a timer for 1 hour, and then in an hour I get an alarm saying you need to put the baby on the potty again. So it kind of works out for us. Then so this is how it goes from between the ages of 7 to around 12 to 14 months. uh, Once they reach around the 12 to 14-month mark, and the time between which they go to the loo starts to increase a lot more, I use something like this. Now this is a training pant. You get a few in India. They are not cheap, guys. So it's definitely an investment. This one is from Super Bottoms, but there are a few available on Amazon. I'll link them down below. But what these do is that they are like underwear, except that they have some padding inside. So if they pee or poop, it's not going to dirty your couch or dirty your bed, or what have you. What major issues people have with having a diaper-free baby is that they might dirty something. So if you put them in training pants, that will not happen. But at the same time, they will get that feeling of wetness. So the moment I started putting my baby in one of these, he started to become a lot more aware of when he was peeing. He would start pointing to his diaper area, and then I kind of knew that he had gone into peed or pooped or what have you. So I started putting them in this around the age of 12 to 14 months or so. If you do not have a budget for something like this, because I believe these are around 800 bucks for three. If you do not have the budget for them, just put them in regular cotton underwear. And try that out. Obviously there might be accidents there, but you will get good at understanding their cues, understanding how often they need to go to the loo, how often they need to sit on the potty. So you can totally use underwear as well. The third thing I do is I set up a potty area in the bathroom. It might be in the bathroom for you, it might be in your baby's room, it might be in the living room, wherever it is that your baby is comfortable sitting on the potty, that's where your diaper area should be set up. So what I do is I buy a potty and a few wipes and some potty books that I have. I'll link a few fun potty related books down below. And so what I do is I make a little basket of, and I'll post a picture of this in Instagram in the next few days. But I set up a little basket with some underwear, some toilet paper or wipes, and some books right next to the potty. And so every time the baby goes to the potty, it's like a fun thing for them. They can open books, they can play a little bit. You have to make it a little bit interesting for them to sit on the potty. So that is definitely a challenge, especially you will see around the 16 to 17-month mark. This happened with both of my babies. They become quite resistant to sit on the potty, so they will sit on the potty for like a second, and then they will get up and start running around, and that's totally fine. The idea is just to try to put them on the potty as often as possible, and they might not or may go on in the potty, and that's fine. But if you keep at it, if you keep at this entire thing, so have a potty area set up, use underwear instead of diapers when at home, and encourage them to use the potty as much as possible, over the next few months you will see that they will start to use the potty more and more, and you will start to use diapers less and less. Now obviously there will be days when you will be busy and you just will not have the time to keep putting them on the potty every time, but that is totally fine. It's not a linear thing. People seem to think like potty learning is a linear thing. So for example, my daughter was pretty much potty trained by the time she was about 22 months, but then she regressed around 26 months or so and stopped using the potty for like 1 or 2 months, and that is totally fine. It's not a linear thing. Some days you will have a lot more successes than failures, and some days you'll be cleaning all through, and some days you'll just put them in a diaper and be done with it, and that is totally fine. The idea is to keep that association going, that if you need to use the loo, if you need to use the bathroom, we have a potty and it's fun to use it. So that is my end goal. Now, you might be a different kind of parent, and that's totally fine. I know parents who have never used a diaper for their babies at all, and that's amazing. And if that's you, that is amazing, because that's eco-friendly, that's easy. Over a period of time, you use less water in washing diapers and things like that. But if you're a parent like me who's kind of in the middle, I do not want to keep my babies in diapers all the time once they turn one. It's just I don't think that that is required. But at the same time, I'm not one of those people who will say bye bye diaper. That's not gonna happen as well. So I'm kind of in the middle part, and you need to find what's normal for you and what works for you and your family, because everybody in your family needs to be on board with this whole potty learning thing, right? Because it can't just be you who's putting the baby on the potty every time. It has to be your husband, it has to be anybody else at home, any other caregivers that are there. So whatever works for your family, that is important. That should be something that you go for. The two important things are having a potty area set up so that there is some place for the baby to go and they're encouraged to go there, and not using diapers as much as possible. And those will basically, over a period of time, you will see that your baby will start to prefer going to the potty. It's less icky for them, it's less messy for everybody. But yeah, it is definitely a slow process. It is not linear. I wouldn't say that your baby will be potty trained, let's say by the age of 1.5 years old or 2 years old or what have you, because they might regress. There are growth spurts and other sort of phases. But yeah, that is, I don't know if this has been really helpful to you, because I do feel that all babies are different and different strategies would work for them, and all families are different as well, and different strategies will work for them as well. But this has been my experience with trying to help both my babies start to use the potty as soon as possible. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions at all, just put it in the comment box below and I'll try to answer that as well. And there will be a blog post that will go with this post. I will link it down below as well, where I have linked all of the potty resources. So the potty that we use, books that I recommend, training pants, underwear, all of that kind of stuff will be linked in the blog post below as well. I hope you found this video useful, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.